So the beings show up and they say, hey, do you remember when you first met us? And I said, are you Pleiadians? And they said, yes. And then they started telling me what happened. And they start telling me that you were once king of Atlantis and we were your advisors. And you were working with us, right? So we're all working together and we create all of this crazy, amazing technology which has to do with frequency and intention and sound and all kinds of stuff. And we created the pyramids to create a protective energy around the earth so that people's consciousness would go even higher and greater than normal. And then the time came that we had to stop using the technology. And the Pleiadians were my advisors, and they told me I had to stop using the technology, inventing more. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let the world fall. I'm not going to let people go down to that Kali Yuga again. I'm not going to let that happen. And so the Pleiadians said, you didn't listen to us, that there was a war, and I got involved in a war. Some really horrific weapons were used. In June of 2022, I successfully made contact with extraterrestrial higher dimensional beings. They've asked me to share with you my ongoing experiences. Stay till the end of this video to learn where to go so that you can get more information and more tools to help you expand into the 5D Ascension experience. Enjoy the video. Then the Pleiadians showed me how I brought about the sinking of Atlantis and the world flood. So you see up at the top it says Atlantis sinking 9600 BC. You go directly opposite to that, that's where we are now. That is present day. What we have is we're on the exact opposite side of the Yuga cycle. So the Yuga cycles are 13,000 years long, and they go forward and then reverse themselves and they go backwards. And that entire process, going forwards and backwards, takes about 26,000 years. We are now in the direct line of where the shift is going to shift very quickly up. So we shifted down. So what happened is 9600 BC or somewhere thereabouts, because of things that I did as the king, but because of some actions that I took, as well as actions that other people took who are now, the Dark Force elites, the gods sent, by gods I mean higher dimensional beings that are looking out and said, we got to stop this, because the weapons that they have, if they use them, that's going to damage more than Earth. That'll damage other worlds on other dimensions, so we have to stop this. So they sent the comets that hit the 2-mile high ice sheets at the top of the earth and vaporized them, and that caused the flood and destroyed the entire civilization. So the beings show up and they say, hey, do you remember when you first met us? And I said, are you Pleiadians? And they said, yes. And then they started telling me what happened, that you were once king of Atlantis and we were your advisors, and you were working with us. It wasn't just the Pleiadians. There were Andromedans and Arcturians, and there were other beings, and we were all working together. And I was kind of like the link between the ETs and the human realm, and that, it's one of my jobs of king, was to be that, that conduit. Right, so we're all working together and we create all of this crazy, amazing technology which has to do with frequency and intention and sound. And we created the pyramids to create a protective energy around the earth so that people's consciousness would go even higher and greater than normal. And then the time came that we had to stop using the technology. And the Pleiadians were my advisors, and they told me I had to stop using the technology, inventing more. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let the world fall. I'm not gonna let people go down to that Kali Yuga again. I'm not gonna let that happen. And so the Pleiadians said, you didn't listen to us, and you chose to keep going down that path, and it created a lot of negativity, and eventually there was a war, and I got involved in a war with another faction or another civilization. Some really horrific weapons were used. I was also betrayed. I was betrayed by my own inner circle, and I was assassinated. Then they got a hold of the technology, and they were going to use it to enslave the human race, and I think kill, wipe out a whole bunch of people or something. And that's when the higher dimensional beings, or what we would call the gods, sent the asteroids to change the face, to get rid of the civilization that we had. So they tell me that. I remember when they were telling me, I broke down and I wept at the thought that I had been involved in perhaps, causing destruction of the world and people dying, and that was a horrible thought. But then, I woke up the next day and like, well, that was weird. And then all of a sudden, all of these feelings started coming up in a way, in a strength, and in a way that I'd never felt. And it was clear to me that I was remembering a past life. This isn't just somebody telling me something and I think I get it. Now I can emotionally remember it. I can remember this happening. So I now know that my main job is to lead people in these meditations to change 3D Earth. I had a lot of power once, and I screwed up really bad, and I created a lot of damage. And now I gotta fix it. I gotta fix my mess. But I also know that everybody's gonna have to have their own awakening, so that they can shift up to their higher essence. And I'm one of the first. I'm one of the first, and so it's my job to be an ambassador of it, to be an example, so that when you go through it, I can tell you, yeah, that's exactly what I went through. My other job is to be an ambassador to Earth on behalf of all ET light beings. That is why I must tell you who I really am, so that you can wake up to know who you truly are. All right, so if you thought that being told that I was the king of Atlantis and that I was responsible for the flood that destroyed the worldwide civilization 13,000 years ago, if you thought that was mind-bending and hard to believe, wait until you see the next video I'm going to upload, where light beings show me the creation of Earth, and they tell me that I am the architect of 3D space-time. If you thought it was a trip to be told that you lived during Atlantis and you interacted with extraterrestrials in creating the pyramids, and if you thought that was an amazing, mind-bending experience, wait until you see what it's like to actually be shown the creation of Earth and how you helped to create it, along with these unbelievably brilliant, beautiful pillars of light who call themselves the guardians of consciousness. That is something that, again, my mind got twisted beyond anything normal 3D reality has ever shown me or I've experienced. So if you like these videos, please go to the Michael Denny YouTube channel, subscribe, like, comment. That helps the algorithm. The thumbs up and all that stuff is good. Please show up every week, twice a week, for the live guided interdimensional meditations to bring the solar flash event. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It is absolutely free. All you have to do is just show up, and I will guide you into a connection with these same beings that I've been working with for the past almost 3 years. And people who do these meditations, many of them have incredibly powerful, life-changing experiences. And the truth is that I honestly believe that these are the most powerful things anybody can be doing. Look what's happening to the world. The shift and the transformation that is just beginning. There's a huge just avalanche of shifting that's going on in the earth. According to the light beings, those of us who do these live guided meditations are in fact largely responsible for what is going on. So I'd love to see you there. If you want to find out more information on how you can get access to different tools and techniques and meditations that will help you shift your internal body so that you will be able to say yes when light beings show up to you and start telling you all of these amazing things about your fifth dimensional self, go to michaeldenny.org and you'll see various things and tools and resources that are available to you. You'll see how you can find my books, how you can interact with me directly, and how you can support the channel in multiple ways. michaeldenny.org. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it at the very least entertaining, and I look forward to sharing with you my next experience, which will come up in the next video, where light beings show me the creation of Earth and tell me that I'm the architect of 3D space-time.